right, everybody. This is Kelly Williams with The Kelly Williams Show and Your Home TV. And it's time for The Kelly Williams Show. Yay! Okay, so I am really excited tonight because I've got the amazing, that's right, Lorenzo Lamas right here on the show. And we're going to find out all about his amazing life and careers in just a minute.
Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events wants you to come party with us. We're bringing the fun to the Houston Bay Area. Stay tuned for all of our incredible events throughout the year, featuring amazing food and drinks, live entertainment, special guests, and so much more. Fun, new, different. Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events is where you want to be. So come party with us. It's more than a yacht. It's serendipity.
All right, and we're back with the amazing Lorenzo Lamas. Yes. This has been so interesting. Okay, so Lorenzo, you got the leading role in Renegade. And I want to ask you this because that almost feels like, because you had martial art experience, you rode motorcycles. Was this part written for you, or did you audition for it?
It wasn't written for me, and I didn't audition for it. It's an interesting story because, remember I was talking a little bit about these action movies that I did in Canada throughout the 80s, the latter part of the 80s, the early 90s, and it was building a foreign audience for me. In that action vein. Yeah. Right. I mean, I remember my agent telling me that they were deficit financing these low budget movies just based on the fact that I was playing the role in the movie. So they would go and get money. They would raise money in Europe to guarantee the movie would have the budget to be shot, number one, and then have distribution to guarantee back end percentages, right? So I had a little bit of this going on, and Falcon Crest helped because Falcon Crest was also an international show. We were in over 100 countries, dubbed in over 60 languages, right?
Amazing.
That helped my international, it's not TVQ, it's just awareness, right?
Yeah.
So I think Stephen Cannell kind of had this in mind in the back of his head, but I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. Until my agent called me and said, Stephen Cannell would like to meet you in his offices. And I go, what? He wants to meet me. What? I auditioned for a number of his shows. Auditioned for Wise Guy, I think once or twice. The A-Team I went in and read. I think I auditioned for The Greatest American Hero.
Oh my goodness.
These are all Stephen Cannell shows.
Wow.
21 Jump Street. I had auditioned, but I never got it. I never got the role. There was this like, it's a wonderful read, but not really quite, a fit for the role.
Yeah.
I didn't know what he had in mind, because he never hired me. But I went into his office, his secretary, Grace, who I knew her because she see me, regularly in the office reading. I said, hi, Grace. She goes, oh, hi, Lorenzo. Stephen will be right with you. And I'm going like, all right, do I want to ask her what this is about, or do I want to just go in cold? And I decided I'm not going to ask Grace.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go in. So she goes, okay, Stephen's ready for you. You know where the office is. And I go, yes, I do. So I walked down the hallway into Stephen's office, and he was just like at the end credits of the A-Team, sitting behind his desk. His hands weren't on the typewriter, but there it was, the typewriter.
Oh my gosh.
At the end of the shows, like A-Team, he'd take a piece of paper and
yes, love it.
Stephen Cannell Productions, right? So there he was. It's like 10 Emmys. on the mantle. He gets up out from behind his desk, comes over and sits down in like this couch area. And he says, Lorenzo, have a seat. I sit down and there's a script on the coffee table that says Vincent Black Shadow. And it's like an hour long. It looked like it was about an hour show.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He goes, I have just dusted this off. I wrote this probably 2 years ago.
What?
And it's a story of a guy who's framed for murder for a crime that he didn't commit, kind of like Fugitive.
Yeah.
And he's running from the law. And he meets up with this Native American bounty hunter who's initially hired to capture him.
Yeah.
Crooked cop that's trying to frame him for a murder because the character, Vince Black, had evidence that was going to destroy this cop's career. So this cop was going to murder Reno. He's going to kill Reno to keep him from testifying against him, and shot his fiance instead. Missed.
Oh my goodness.
Reno escapes.
Yeah.
And he goes, I want you to take it home and read it and let me know what you think tomorrow. So I didn't get home. I actually sat in the garage under the building and read the script from first page all the way to the last page.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to call him then because that would be like too anxious. Right? He told me to call him tomorrow. So I don't sleep all night. I'm waiting until like 10 o'clock in the morning the next day to call him and to tell him that I love the role. And I did love the role. It was one of those special kinds of roles where you get to play a reluctant hero.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Willis in Die Hard,
Yeah.
The guy caught in the middle of this chaotic event, and he just scrambles his way to try to find a way out of it and to save people if he can, mainly to save himself. But then if he can help some, it was a Jim Rockford. It was a Jim Rockford story, right?
It was so good. It was so good. Yes.
So well written. And every episode had a beginning, a middle, and an end. It was it was in many ways like a modern day Western where the character had a motorcycle, which was like a horse. He was going from town to town. Had
the long hair.
Big shootout at the end. The bad guys, either they go to jail or they fear. Just had all the makings of the kinds of shows that I really liked watching.
Yeah.
Oh,
I loved it.
We shot so Steven basically let me in on why he thought I might be a good fit for it.
Yeah.
It was because he didn't want to go to a network to get this show greenlit. Wow. He wanted to be his own network.
Yeah.
And he wanted to sell the show directly to the station owners around the country.
Wow.
These television stations that have Oprah on in the afternoon, and they've got game shows on, and those shows are all syndicated. Wheel of Fortune is network, but a lot of the other shows, like the talk shows in the afternoon, Sally Jesse Raphael and Oprah, they were all syndicated and sold directly to the stations. And Steven had done that. His first show that was 21 Jump Street. That was
my goodness.
That was not a network show.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
So he needed foreign money, foreign distribution money. So he wanted to guarantee that the show would be around the world, right? Not just in the US. So he needed an actor that had a good name for independent distribution.
And there you go.
So that's how I got the part.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay. Well, guys, we have been visiting with the amazing Lorenzo Lamas, and we're going to find out more about his incredible careers right after this commercial break.
Picture your ideal getaway. A place for fun and relaxation. That's South Shore Harbor Resort and Conference Center. Stylishly renovated in a modern aesthetic with room to accommodate any event or occasion. Whether you're traveling for business or just looking to take a break, get away to the Bay. South Shore Harbor Resort and Conference Center. Book today at ssshr.com.
Do you do your own stunts
I did
in
all
that
of my
show?
all of the fighting. I did all by myself
Yeah.
because
Wow.
I had been, at that point, I think I got my black belt already in
Yeah.
Budo Jiu-Jitsu. I had another belt in Taekwondo. I was doing it for fun, for exercise.
Yeah.
During Falcon Crest, I was still going to the dojo and learning, and then in 1989, the same year, that was like our last year of Falcon Crest,
Yeah.
I'd gotten my Shodan, right, my first degree. So
That's amazing.
I told Stephen this. I said, because in the script they were like bar fights with old-fashioned John Wayne punches, and
Yeah.
and I said, would you mind if I incorporated some martial arts skills into
Yeah.
the? And he says, I love it. Great. Yeah, put it in there.
It made all the difference in the world, I think.
I think it made the character stand out, and
Yeah.
then Chuck Norris came out with Walker, and
Yeah.
which again was a great role for Chuck.
So
It's
good.
funny, we'd have guest stars on our show, and then they'd catch a flight. We shot the show in San Diego. They catch a flight from San Diego. They go to San Antonio and do a Walker the next week. So
Oh my
a lot of our
goodness.
guest stars would come and do Renegade. Then they go to do Walker, or they do Walker. Then they come over and do our show.
Yeah.
They
Love
were
it.
very similar in that way, and they were both syndicated, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. That's
so-
amazing. But two of my favorite shows.
But really, prior to that, there wasn't a lot of martial arts on television.
No.
I mean, Steven Seagal was doing his thing. I think Out for Justice came out.
Yeah.
Was his first movie. Jean-Claude Van Damme was kind of doing his thing.
Yeah. But they were movies. There wasn't
They
anything
were
to watch
movies.
on
There really
TV.
wasn't anything on television.
Yeah. I love that.
So that was great. And the fact that I had been riding motorcycles at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my first Harley. I was 18. I was
Wow.
1977. So,
Amazing. Amazing.
I had that. I mean, I would pinch myself on the set on some days where I'm riding a motorcycle behind a camera or in front of a camera, and I'm going like, I'm getting paid.
Exactly.
I'm getting paid to do this,
I know
and getting well paid to do
Yeah. Yeah.
it. It was great. I bought a house in San Diego and everything.
Oh my
It was a
goodness.
great experience, and I'm still to this day. My friend Branscombe and I are we're tight as ticks.
That's amazing.
We still call each other probably 3 or 4 times a month to check in.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, you've had, I mean, your acting career has really been amazing. Do you think you've had a favorite role that you did? Is there something that really sticks out to you as saying, really?
I mean, really, it was Renegade, because
Yeah.
that role was really, I felt in many ways, it suited me more than anything else I'd ever done.
Yeah.
I was so comfortable in his skin,
Yeah.
to the point
Amazing.
where when I would have things in my life come up where I had to make decisions, they were challenging, I just lose sleep, I would ask myself, what would Reno do?
Yeah.
Because
I
Stephen
love
Campbell,
that.
he wrote such an iconic character. That guy,
Yeah.
Reno, was such a stand-up dude, man.
Yeah. It was
Like,
just so
he
good.
had the conscience of a saint.
Yeah.
So I would ask myself, what would Reno do in this situation?
I love that. Well,
So
I read
Yeah.
that, everybody remembers you had that long hair
Mhm.
in that show. Well, I read where you actually showed up and you had cut your hair and you had to wear a wig. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
The last season, I wish I had that decision. I wish I could take back. But I had a manager at the time who really felt that during the hiatus of the 4th and 5th season of Renegade,
Yeah.
there was a movie that was presented to us, for me, that he really felt was going to be my groundbreaking motion picture debut. It was the part of FBI agent and I was going to be playing opposite Roy Scheider,
Wow.
from Jaws, and
Yeah.
it
Amazing.
was going to be a real tour de force, character wise.
Yeah.
And my manager just said, dude, he said, can't we just get you to you have to have shorter hair for this role. Like, it's an FBI agent. And I had done all these other movies with my
Yeah.
hair pulled back in a ponytail, or
Yes.
something like that. And it was
Yeah.
fine because those were like straight to video movies. It really wasn't going to go anywhere theatrically, but he said, this is really Sidney Furie is directing it. I mean, Sidney Furie is a very prominent A-list director, with the cast that they were going to put in this movie and the budget that they had for it.
Yeah.
He talked me into cutting my hair. So I cut my hair. I did the movie, and guess what? They went right to video. So it's
my goodness.
it was never released theatrically.
Yeah.
They couldn't get the distributors to agree
Yeah.
on a release date and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It went around and around forever.
Yeah.
Trying to get it out in the theaters, and they just
Yeah.
finally said, "Well, let's just put it out on VHS."
Yeah.
So it was called The Rage,
Okay.
and Gary Busey played the villain in it.
Oh my goodness.
Roy Scheider was my FBI partner.
Yeah. Amazing.
Sidney Furie directed, and it was a great movie. It's probably one of the best roles I'd ever been given in a feature movie.
Yeah. I'm going to pull that up and watch it. It sounds good.
It's good. It's a good movie.
Yeah. I love that.
But it didn't make it to the theaters. So I
Yeah.
cut my hair off, and which leaves us at a dilemma, right? So I called Stu Siegel, my producer, and I said, Stu, I said, I had to cut my hair. He goes, wait, what? I go,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I cut my hair over hiatus for this movie with Roy Scheider. It's going to be a motion picture. It's going to come out theatrically.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What do we do here? Let me call Steven. I'll get back to you.
Oh.
So Stu calls Steven. I guess they have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And they want to leave it up to me. They said,
wow.
Reno could have went and undercover.
Yeah.
He could have done something in between seasons. Like, he was going to get caught and they were going to catch him. So he cut his hair in a gas station bathroom.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
So he says, you can keep your hair short, or, we can fit you with a wig.
Yeah.
And I just felt that character just needed the long hair.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would have been a totally different
It would have been disarming.
feeling about that show.
It would have been it would have felt different.
I totally agree with you. I'm glad that you decided that.
So-
that was interesting that happened.
Yeah.
I thought, what happened that he just thought, I got to get rid of this.
Yeah.
But that's
It was very generous of my producers, both
very
Steve
nice.
and Stu, to basically leave it up to me.
Very, very
I
nice.
think they thought the show would survive.
Yeah. Oh,
one
yeah.
way or the
Oh,
other.
yeah.
The character was so well written, and they'd do a whole flashback thing with me cutting the hair.
Yeah.
But I just really felt like that was probably the way to do it.
Yeah.
And so then, now my makeup, at the time in the makeup chair now has grown from like 15 minutes just throwing some powder on to now I've got to sit in that chair and have this prosthetic clipped into my hair.
Wow.
And then they had to make it look like it wasn't like two pieces.
I know it. That's crazy.
It was really, so during the 5th season, the last season of the show, they actually put my hair back in a ponytail a lot because the hair didn't, when it was long, it just didn't look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't look the same. It didn't have the same body.
Yeah.
It wasn't
You
my
do
hair.
have great hair. Yeah.
It wasn't my hair.
That's hilarious.
It's a stand-in.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to ask you this. You had a lot of success with TV and film. What made you take a break from Hollywood?
Well, I think Hollywood really wanted a break for me because I just wasn't being offered anything decent. I was doing all different things. I'd done stage.
Yeah.
I was on stage doing a musical in Ogunquit, Maine.
What?
First time in my life. Just to make ends meet.
Love that.
I put together a cabaret show, 90 minutes of standards from the Great American Songbook that I had Stuart Ross, who directed Forever Plaid on Broadway. He was he helped write the show for me.
Wow.
It was called Lorenzo Talks About Love. And it was really a tribute to my parents.
Yeah.
We picked all those great old standards,
Oh,
like
God.
Night and
So
Day
good.
and Kiss of Fire.
Oh, so good.
Besame Mucho, all those old great songs. And he wrote a wonderful tribute to my parents around those songs.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I took the show and with my musical director, and we toured the East Coast. I opened at Feinstein's in New York at the Regency.
Wow.
My first opening was like, man, I mean, talk about baptism by fire.
Oh my goodness.
Rex Reed was in the audience my opening night.
What?
Thankfully wrote a good review.
Yeah.
So the show had some longevity to it.
Yeah.
I did that for a year or two, did some musical theater, I played the King and the King and I in a couple of different productions.
Oh, I know. I love that.
I did Zach, Chorus Line. I mean,
Oh gosh, so good.
I had been a film actor. My dad
Yeah.
didn't send me to, I didn't go to Howard Fine for a scene study. I went to Tony Barr's film acting workshop, right?
Yeah.
To learn how to act for the camera. So I had no idea how to stand on stage. I had no idea about body and body control.
And it's so different.
So different.
Yeah.
But I took some courses. Really what happened was I showed up early for rehearsals for the first musical I did was The King and I in May.
Love it.
And I showed up early to work with the director on stage, on stage movement. And they hired the choreographer to come a week early just to work with me on movement.
Wow. Wow.
It was hard work.
Yeah.
And I had to learn all the songs. And
oh my goodness.
But I think by the second week of a 3-week run, I finally felt the king. I finally felt like, etc. I finally had that bearing, that he needed.
Yeah.
But it took a while. It was different. But so I did that for a couple of years. And then that kind of dried up a little bit. And I'm going like, what the hell am I going to do? I can't get a film job. I can't do this musical thing forever. When I went and toured with my cabaret, I would have to pay the band,
Oh, yeah.
I'd have to buy their hotel room.
Oh, yeah.
So of all the money that I might have made, half of it went to my musicians.
Exactly.
Gladly pay. But, it wasn't really cutting it.
It's a lot of hard work.
I had all these crazy aircraft ratings that I got, when I was on Renegade and then Air America and then did these other movies up until 2001.
Yeah.
I was flying. I had owned airplanes. I had gotten my commercial helicopter license.
Oh my goodness.
All as a hobby, all for fun.
Wow.
And just one day I'm going like, what am I going to do? Like, what can I do? What skills do I have besides acting?
Yeah.
And, well, I've got all these silly ratings. Like, maybe I should just try to be a pilot.
Amazing. Yeah.
So I looked into that. I called my friend Roger, my mentor, my aviation mentor.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you could do airlines because you got more time in airplanes, but they're going to move you to either Arizona or South Carolina to fly for a feeder route. You're going to be away from your kids.
Yeah.
Or you could do helicopters because helicopter pilots usually are home for dinner.
Oh my goodness.
I said, yeah, but I only have 250 hours in helicopters. I got over 1,500 hours in airplanes. He goes, well, you go get a flight instructor rating and start. Because if you're teaching people how to fly helicopters, you're not paying for the aircraft and you're getting paid to teach.
Oh my goodness.
So I called my sister in New York and I asked her if she could loan me some money to go back to flight school. Because I was literally I was broke. I was living in a little apartment in Beverly Hills with my 3 daughters, Alexandra, Isabella, and Victoria, all under our same roof.
Oh, yeah.
A little 2-bedroom, just like working month to month.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the money it took to go to flight school. So my sister gave me the money. I went to flight school. I had to get an IFR rating, which is instrument flight rules. I had one for airplanes, but I didn't have an IFR for helicopters. And all the major operators nowadays, because of the insurance that these companies have to pay for, they want all the pilots to be instrument rated, right?
Yeah.
Even though we'll never fly in clouds. Especially in California.
Oh, my
Helicopter
goodness.
pilots never fly in clouds unless you're working for a big company back east where it's a 2-pilot operation and the helicopter is an autopilot like an airplane. Those are big helicopters, though.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to do that. I wanted to fly helicopters out here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So I went to flight school. I got my certificate to teach. I started teaching at the Van Nuys Airport in this little school. This guy gave me a great break. He said, well, I'll give you students, but I can't give you tours yet. And tours are what I really wanted to fly.
Yeah.
You log a lot of time when you're doing tours.
Yeah.
They had a 30-minute tour, 45-minute tour, and an hour tour around the LA basin.
Yeah.
And these were in the little helicopters, if I get boring because I'll do this, I can talk about flying for another hour.
Yeah.
And I see sometimes people's eyes, they kind of glaze over. So if ever you're bored, just say, okay, let's switch it up. But so my intention was you need 1,000 hours.
1,000 hours?
You need 1,000 hours to get hired to fly.
Holy smoke.
To get to work for a big operator where you're flying, turbine helicopter.
Yeah.
Right. I was flying piston helicopters, there was a hamster on a wheel back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they were great learning helicopters. I taught a lot of people how to overcome their fear of helicopters by teaching them how to fly these things.
That's amazing.
And it took me about 1.5 years. And I still had to struggle as an actor to do jobs from here and there because flight instructors, they make like $60 an hour.
Yeah.
I was getting maybe 20 hours a week,
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
So it took me about 1.5 years, but then I got my 1,000 hours. I sent my resume out, and I went to a Heli Expo, which is a big. It's just a big convention for the helicopter industry, and they have a lot of larger companies there, including sightseeing companies and
Las
Vegas, Colorado, Alaska, the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh my goodness.
All these different. So I handed my resume out, 50 different companies, 50 different companies.
Yeah.
I just got my 1,000 hours and I just got my IFR rating.
Oh my goodness.
So I was good to go. I was a candidate, just hoping that somebody would call me back. I did get a call back from this company, the second largest company flying tours out of Las Vegas.
Wow.
The major company was Maverick. So, and this company was Sundance.
Wow.
So I was asked to come out and interview. So the interview is 1 hour of oral where they give you scenarios and they want to know what you would do in a certain situation.
Yeah.
And is the flight training, right? So they do a flight check to make sure you're not going to crash their helicopters, right? So we did oral. I think the oral went great. Then they give me their line flight instructor to go out and fly their helicopters. Now they didn't have Robinson helicopters, the ones that I had 1,000 hours in.
Oh no!
I had I had 2 hours in a Jet Ranger, which is a turbine helicopter. But have those. They had these A-Stars, right? Which I knew about. I loved the A-Star, but I didn't have any time in them. And I told that to the flight instructor. I said, "Hey, look, I don't have a lot of time in this helicopter. I understand the rotor spins the opposite way." He goes, "You taught helicopters, right?" I go, "Yeah, I've taught helicopter." He goes, "Helicopter's a helicopter. Okay?
Yeah.
Once you pull pitch, if the nose goes one way, you know what to do to get the nose straightened out, right?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Just fly the thing."
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
So I just got in, flew around. We did a couple of auto, he talked me through a couple of autos. We went to another little airport in Jean, Nevada. to do some simulated emergency procedures. We
Yeah.
loss of hydraulics, did a couple of autos, and came back, landed, and he said, "Okay, you're good to go. Like as far as I'm
Nice.
concerned, you're fine."
Yeah.
Because there was going to be a week of orientation for new
Yeah.
pilots, right? Where they take the new pilots and you learn all about the A-Star. You learn all
Oh,
about
yeah.
from nose to tail,
Oh, yeah.
what does what, which goes where.
Yeah.
So I was hired, but I had to move to Las Vegas. And I was living with my 3 daughters at the time
Gosh.
in a little house in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
My oldest of the youngest three
Yeah.
was a junior.
Oh,
She was
gosh.
going to be going into her senior year at Beverly Hills
Yeah.
High School. Then I had a sophomore, and then
Mhm.
I had my youngest youngest of the
Yeah.
youngest 3 was just going into 9th grade, right?
Oh, goodness.
So we had a big sit down at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Because they knew I was striving to be a pilot, and they knew that I wasn't going to be home for dinner all the time,
Yeah.
and that I wouldn't be able to take them to school like I used to all the time.
Yeah.
And they were okay with that. But this
Oh.
was a big deal because Daddy was going to have to move, right?
Yeah.
To Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So I sat him down and I said, "Guys, so here's the thing. So I went in for an interview, right, in Las Vegas, and Alexandra, the oldest of the youngest, said, 'You got the job, didn't you, Dad? I told you would get the job.'
Oh.
I go, 'Yeah, I got the job.
Yeah.
But we have a dilemma here. So Daddy's got to move to Vegas.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to come with me?'
Oh.
And Alexandra said, 'No, Dad, I don't. But it's okay because I want to move in with Dylan.'
Yeah.
So my the oldest of the youngest, Alexandra,
Yeah.
she was pretty much spending like almost every study period with Dylan, her boyfriend, since 10th grade.
Yeah.
I knew him. He was a great kid. I knew his
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
Tom, his dad, was the football coach at Beverly Hills High School. Dylan was
Oh.
a star player, right?
Oh.
So I said, and I knew, and it was a tough decision, man, because
Yeah.
I understood why. I mean, she was going to be going into her senior year.
I know it.
She was going to be head cheerleader.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend was going to be captain of the football team.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like Friday Night Lights. This is the real deal.
Yeah.
And I knew that his parents would take care of Alexandra.
Absolutely.
So I said, okay. So then I turned my attention to Victoria, the middle one.
Yeah.
And she goes, "No, I'm not staying here, Dad. I'm coming with you."
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I said, okay. So Vicky's coming with me.
Yeah.
And Izzy, the little one, said, "No, Dad, I think I'm going to stay with Mom." Now, I had full custody of these 3 for the last 3.5 years, right?
Wow.
And I said, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Yeah, I mean, I'm older now. I can deal with it. I want to stay with my friends, Dad. I just want to stay here. I'll live with Mom."
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's what happened. So
Wow.
Victoria and I piled into my 4Runner, and we moved to Las Vegas into this really nice house behind us. And that's how that career started. And I just retired this last April.
Yeah. I love that.
I've been flying for a company out of Long Beach for the last 6 years. So,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Okay, so Lorenzo, you have gotten back into acting.
Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to retire, because I couldn't take any real acting roles. My agent would call me and he goes, "Don't tell me, I know the answer already. You can't take the role because you're working, right?" I go, "Yeah, I'm working."
Yeah.
But April of last year, I was offered a job by a man that runs another company in sales, and that sales job was going to pay me at least as much as I would be making as a pilot.
Oh,
And I
my
figured, okay,
goodness.
well, here's an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
To kind of switch gears here. And he was going to give me the time, certain times of the year, the industry that I was doing sales for, certain times of the year, it's really slow.
Yeah.
And other times of the year, it's busy. So he said, "Look, during the busy season, I just need you to be available like 2 months, 3 months out of the year. Then the rest of the time, just do sales on your own time.
Yeah.
So that opened
Nice.
a lot of a window for me to do
Oh,
movies. So yeah,
that
last
is,
year,
yeah, amazing.
yeah, just this, yeah, a year ago, 23, I did 2 movies, and they're out now, right,
Incredible.
on different platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Did you, going back into acting, do you remember feeling like was it hard to get back into memorizing lines again, or do you really never lose that? You
No,
know?
it was like it's like I was back doing what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
It felt
Yeah.
like I was just, the first thing that you become successful at really in life, I think defines you, you know.
Yeah.
Uh it was cool telling people that I was a pilot. They're like,
Yeah.
"Wow, no way. How did you
Yeah.
do that?" But really my first love was acting, and it always will be,
Yeah.
So standing there, on the set, rehearsing lines with
Yeah.
scene partners, talking to the director about different nuance. It's just where I belong.
I love it. Do you ever have, over your years of acting, is there anything you do specifically to get ready to act or to shoot on shoot days?
Well, I mean, in the 80s and 90s, most of my acting was done shirtless. So I'd go on
Yeah.
the keto diet for 6 weeks before. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about that too much anymore. No, nobody's going to be throwing me in a bed with a 20-year-old. So I'm safe there, right?
That's hysterical.
I just play like older men now. I play like
Yeah.
dads, like
Yeah.
gangsters, in
That's
suits.
fun.
Yeah, in suits and pajamas. So
Yeah, I love I love that. I love that. Okay, so you have 6 gorgeous kids.
I do.
Um,
I'm very, very blessed.
yes, extremely blessed.
We'll just say that.
Are any of them following in your footsteps for acting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say 2 kids and 1 granddaughter, who I have to
Oh.
tell you, my oldest daughter Shane has given me 2 beautiful grandkids. My grandson Lion,
Oh
who's
my
9, and my granddaughter Press, who's 12.
Oh.
And Press she is a little star. I mean, she could go on a Disney TV show tomorrow.
Oh my
She has
goodness.
that sparkle, I
Yeah.
mean, I've seen her on stage productions where she's acting in junior college productions with adults, and
Oh
she's
my
there,
goodness.
like holding it down.
Yeah.
Like, this girl. And I
Wow.
think because Shane, when my daughter was younger, her mom got her involved in beauty pageants at a very
Yeah.
young age.
Yeah.
And that was a tremendous aid to helping Shane come out of her shell, because my daughter was very shy as a little
Yeah.
girl. But through gymnastics and performance and doing these little Miss pageants and
Yeah.
Miss pageants, it got Shane out of her shell to the point where she was very confident. I mean, confident enough to win on The Bachelor one year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she was on that.
Wow.
She won that ABC Bachelor show, which is another whole show, another story.
Yeah.
But so she's passed on that to Press, my granddaughter. She has had Press in performing arts since Press was 6 or 7 years old.
Oh, I love that.
She Press has sang for almost every pageant she's been in.
Oh my
Sings
goodness.
great songs,
Yeah.
The sun will come up and all those just
Oh, I love
great
that.
It's just so cute. She has an Instagram account.
Oh.
Press doll Lamas Richie. So
Okay. We're all
yeah.
gonna look her up.
Yeah, look her up. I mean, and support her, because
I love that.
She is going to go somewhere. Okay,
Oh.
so the middle one of my youngest 3 that went to Vegas with me,
Yeah.
Gloria, right? So when we moved to Vegas, I didn't want her to go to public school. I wanted to get her into a private school, but it was expensive.
Oh yeah.
What to do. There's a performing arts school in Las Vegas,
Oh wow.
like Fame.
Oh my
So
goodness.
Victoria has been an amazing artist since she was in grade school.
Wow.
She has been painting and drawing since in her room by herself. I got her an easel when she was 8 years
Oh.
old.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I sent the Las Vegas School of Performing Arts some samples of her work to get her accepted, and they emailed me right back. So
What?
I got Vicky into the Performing Arts School in Vegas while I was
Nice.
flying, right? So that was great because
Yeah, that was awesome.
not only was she able to explore, different disciplines of art,
Yeah.
sculpture, things like that. On her off time, she volunteered for their stage productions in scenery and set building.
What?
And that eventually grew into a desire to maybe get on stage and try some acting.
Love that.
So I found an acting school for her. I put her in that acting school. She would go
Yeah.
there two nights a week after school,
Yeah.
and she really loved it. And when she moved to LA, after I came back from New York, I was flying there for a year and a half. She got into this great acting school. Well, she did too. Margie Haber in Los Angeles and Howard Fine also in Los Angeles. These were very prominent acting coaches and acting schools.
Wow.
This was 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
She's done a number of student films. She's done some independent movies.
Amazing.
Right now, she's modeling a lot more because it's paying a lot.
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
and
awesome.
She also has an Instagram, Victoria Lamas.
Yeah.
But she is doing great. And my oldest of the youngest, Alexandra, graduated from UCSD with a degree in psychology.
Oh my goodness.
Years ago, she graduated, and now she's developing a program that she's running on the internet that helps young women with dysmorphia complex and eating disorder.
Wow.
So she's working to help because she was also a model for many years, and it almost killed her.
Yeah.
That whole mindset about these young women and how they starve these poor kids.
It's awful.
She came back to the States, and I hope she doesn't mind me talking about this, but
Yeah.
it has served to help so many other young women.
I love that.
She came back to the U.S. after being in Europe for 2 years,
Yeah.
and the doctor says your kidneys are going to fail. Like, you have to get your eating in control.
Yeah.
And so she went to therapy for that. She healed herself.
Wonderful.
She got the treatment, and now
so good.
And now she's helping other young women with these.
That's amazing. What a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's huge. That is amazing. Well,
they're all doing what they want to do.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I want to ask you this. What advice would you give anybody? It doesn't matter what age, what gender, if they are interested in acting,
Mm-hmm. Don't wait until you're 50 to get on the stage. Because if I had it to do over again, although I learned a lot under Laura Rose at the Actors Workshop, I learned a lot about film acting. There is something to be said for really understanding the character and developing the character. Because from the character, everything else can follow. Your movement will follow from the character, your dress, the costume, all the external stuff really happens after you've got the character in your soul.
Yeah.
And so I would and it's also a way to just get out in front of people and start talking to strangers.
Yeah.
Half of the audition process is overcoming stage fright.
Yeah.
To get in there and give a good reading and not be nervous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when you walk into an audition and you're nervous, everybody feels it.
Yeah.
And then they close up.
Yeah.
Because they see that you're not comfortable.
Yeah.
So doing stage, no matter what age you are, whether you're in grammar school, like press, she started doing stage. Her mom took her to do plays and little things when she was 7, 8 years old.
Love that.
Whether you're young or older, you can always start to learn how to become an actor.
Yeah. I love that. That is great advice.
There are no limitations.
Yeah.
They're writing roles for 80-year-olds.
Yeah. No, I love that.
There's no limitation in terms of age. You only limit yourself in the ways of learning the craft.
Yeah.
So
love that.
It may seem a little weird coming from a television actor, but if I had it to do over again, I would do more theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I love that. Okay. So you have a gorgeous wife, Kenna.
Yeah.
How did y'all meet?
We met, it was different, really. So we met on Facebook. Like, I didn't DM her or anything. But we have a mutual friend.
Oh my goodness.
My godmother, Francesca Danieli, or Daniels, as she likes to be known in her later life. She was a district attorney in Los Angeles and a lawyer.
Yeah.
Assistant DA for many, many years. And she was friends with my stepmom, Esther, and my dad, Fernando. And Francesca would come up for dinner all the time.
Oh my goodness.
Esther and Francesca were they were the Golden Girls. They knew they would talk to each other on the phone for hours every day.
Love that.
They were best buddies. And so Francesca, she never really had a relationship. She wasn't, married to anybody or didn't really even date anybody as far as I knew. Maybe she did not. But when she came to the house, it was all about Esther and Fernando and Francesca. And they would stay up late at night after I'd long gone to bed. I'd fall asleep listening to laughter in the dining room, I've known Francesca my whole life, since I was 10.
Wow.
And one year, I think 10 years or so ago, Francesca had attended an event at the Beverly Hilton to raise money for some charity. And Kenna happened to be there. Kenna was living in Los Angeles at the time, like 2014 or 2013, 2014. And she was living in Los Angeles with her then husband, and they attended this event. And it was typical of, a charity event. It's long event, they'd stop serving drinks hour before,
exactly. Way too early.
Do we leave? Do we go to the bar? What? So Kenna and my godmother, Francesca, found each other in this big room. They'd never met each other before.
What?
But I think Francesca was sitting at a table by herself. And Kenna was just blown away by the way this woman looked. I mean, at the time, she was probably in her late 70s.
Yeah.
She had those great Jackie Onassis
was
on, dressed to the
love
neck,
that.
She lived in Doheny Towers for all the years that she was in Los Angeles,
Oh my goodness.
and shopped at I Magnin. I mean, just was put together.
Love it.
And Francesca and Kenna, who appreciates style, just walked up to her and said, "I have to tell you that you are the most striking woman that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I hope when I'm older, I look as magnificent as you."
Yeah.
And Francesca says, "Oh, darling, come sit down."
Yeah.
Tell
How
me more.
sweet.
Tell me more.
I love it.
They talked to each other that night 10 years ago for another hour, just the two of them.
Oh my goodness.
And they had stayed in touch over the years. Kenna was obviously a friend on Francesca's Facebook page. And I think one day Francesca posted a picture of herself. She had moved to Florida, to Boca Raton. She posted a picture, and I commented something on a picture. Said, You
You're
never
hot.
age. You said you never age, do you? Oh my God, Francesca. How do you remain so amazingly beautiful?
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just a nice compliment.
Yeah.
But this person, Kenna Scott, liked my comment.
Oh.
And I said, who's Kenna Scott? Who's that? So I immediately picked up the phone and I called Francesca and I said, Francesca, who's Kenna Scott? And she goes, oh, Lorenzo, let me tell you, if you ever get a chance to meet this young woman, she is beautiful. She
Oh.
is smart. She's a liberal, but it's okay. But she is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. You have to find a way to talk to her, to at least call her. I
Yeah.
go, well, I don't feel comfortable calling her, but maybe I'll message her on Facebook. She goes, yes, message her on Facebook. So I did. I messaged Kenna and I said, you don't know me, but you know my godmother, Francesca.
Oh.
And I thought that was really sweet that you liked my comment. And, where are you living? Where are you?
Yeah.
She goes, well, I'm in North Idaho. Da, 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 da. And so we went back and forth. Oh, look who's calling right now. Hi, baby. I'm on
Kenna.
I'm on the phone. I'm on a podcast, honey.
Hi.
That's Kelly.
How are you?
You see, we're talking about Francesca and how you guys met. And I said, you walked up to Francesca and complimented her on how she looked like Jackie Onassis with the, yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry.
No,
that's okay.
we're
All right.
so happy. We were just talking about you.
I'll call you back after.
Okay. Love you both.
Love you, baby.
Love that vibe. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I love that. What perfect timing.
Yeah. So she was talking to Francesca, and then I messaged her, and this was during the pandemic. So
oh my goodness.
She was quarantined up in Idaho.
Yeah.
I was working for another helicopter company that flew down. I had to get another job. I couldn't fly tours anymore for this company in Long Beach because they shut down all travel. You know, they didn't want to sit next to each other.
No. Yeah.
So I said, what do I do? So I called a friend of mine who was a chief pilot for another company that flew medical helicopters, right?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
As a matter of fact, we have an opening. So I went and I did the same thing, oral thing, the flight test, the whole thing, fine.
Yeah.
And they were flying the same kind of helicopters that I flew in New York.
Nice.
So I worked during the pandemic. I flew doctors that were doing organ transplants. So I flew
my goodness.
nurses all over Southern California.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was an essential business. Remember that term, right?
Yes, I do.
The company that I flew for, Helinet, they got government grants to keep their doors open.
Wow.
So we can continue to fly.
That's wonderful.
So that was a blessing. But anyway,
I love that.
I digress. So I would come home and then we would do FaceTime cocktails. And we would do like this. We would FaceTime each other and get to know each other. And we did that over 2 months. And I wasn't seeing anybody. She wasn't seeing anybody.
Yeah.
We just kind of were getting to know each other, you know.
I love that.
And when things lightened up a little bit, she was able to get on a flight. And that was June of that same year. And she came down for the weekend, and that was it. Like
amazing. I love that. That's a great story.
Kind of an old-fashioned way of getting to know somebody, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of going on a dating site or something like that.
I know. I love that. I love that.
So now I'm up in Idaho. And
yeah, I love that.
So our plan is to spend the nice months, when it's 110 degrees in Palm Springs. We'll spend those months up here.
No, that's so nice.
And then when it starts to cool off, like in another couple of months up here, we'll go back down to Southern California.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that for you. Okay, so I want to ask you really quickly, where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing in the next 5 years? What do you want?
I want to be driving dune buggies and playing golf and going scuba diving all over the world. That's my goal. I might need to do another TV series to afford that life. So that might be something in the cards. I'm manifesting it.
I love that.
We are what we think.
That's right.
Right? We are what we
That's
think.
right.
Famous words by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. So I do have that in mind. I really want to act again, and to get some more opportunities in that field, and then enjoy, the back nine, I call it. These are the last 9 holes of my life.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
Want to do stuff that I enjoy.
Absolutely. I love that.
And play with my grandkids.
Absolutely. The best part of life. That's wonderful. What do you think, and I think I know what you're going to say, but I want to ask you this anyway. You've really enjoyed an amazing life. You've been extremely blessed. What do you think you are most grateful for in life?
My health.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Because it's without your health, nothing matters.
Yeah.
Financial problems, work, relationships, without your health, it's nothing. So if I could impart any wisdom, being a 66-year-old male, is like, if you're going to quit doing something that is hurting you, whatever that is, quit today. Yeah. Because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Just don't know where our tomorrow is going to be or where it's going to take us. But what we do know and what we do have control over is what we do to ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Healthy.
I agree. I love that. I totally agree with you. Okay, so how can we follow you and watch what projects you do or what exciting things you do? How do we follow you?
I'm on Facebook. I have
Okay.
a blue check Facebook page.
Nice.
That's Lorenzo Lamas. So just jump on there. I have a Twitter account at Lorenzo Lamas, same, and my Instagram account, which is probably I'm probably most active on my Instagram because I do stories and stuff like that. That's Lorenzo_Lamas. Okay. For my Instagram.
Awesome. Well, we're all going to go follow you.
Good.
DM you.
I'll follow you back. And I'll follow your show. I'll follow your show back.
Yes.
Does your show have Instagram?
Yes, Instagram and Facebook and
very good. Yeah.
TikTok.
Okay.
So yeah, excellent. Okay, so Lorenzo, thank you so much for
it was great
being on the show.
Yeah, it was really great fun.
So much fun. Yeah, getting to know you and hear about your amazing life. It's really been exciting. So thank you so much for that.
No, I love your energy. I love your energy.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. So keep it up.
I will. I'm going to try. I love it.
You're going to do it. You'll do it.
All right. Guys, you can watch The Kelly Williams Show anytime on the Your Home TV network. And thank you to Lorenzo Lamas. Go follow him and watch what all kind of fun things that he does. I can't wait. And we hope you have an awesome and blessed rest of your day. Thank y'all so much.
Bye-bye, everybody.